All right. Good morning. Today is episode 2 of the Daily Vibecode. And today we are going to try to build something with a different AI agentic framework, Codex, which is from OpenAI instead of Anthropic. And we are going to try to build um, this idea that I saw on LinkedIn. It was part of interview requirements or application requirements for a government position as an AI something or other. And the question was to write an essay for The Great Gatsby that included all of the themes in the novel and discussed the themes one by one, and then um, provided citations to quotations in the book that demonstrate that theme. And to build this framework, we are going to try to use LangGraph, which is an AI agent orchestration framework, and we are going to try to use Pinecone, which is a managed vector database. And so I was discussing this option with ChatGPT just to see if this was a good idea to try. And it gave me an outline, and I was asking, do we need Pinecone or not? What's the point? It gave me an outline for that. I've already installed um, the OpenAI Codex command line interface. So what I'm about to do is ask ChatGPT to give me a um, a detailed plan for this outline it came up with, and to confirm that I do want to try to use Pinecone with this, with LangGraph. So that's where we are here, and we're gonna see how far we get in 1 hour. So right now it's considering the infrastructure. It's gonna give me a prompt, and then we're gonna put that prompt into um, Codex and see how it does. Now, what's funny is I kind of feel the urge to like sign up for Pinecone and do these things that I didn't do for Claude, probably because I like OpenAI and ChatGPT. That's the full disclosure, that's the AI I use the most to just talk to it about ideas. I use Gemini 2.5 Pro the most when I'm coding with GitHub Copilot, and I just started using Claude yesterday. So here's our detailed Pinecone first implementation plan that keeps the project interview grade and reduces LLM spend by pushing the search and recall work onto Pinecone, so the LLM only does analysis and writing on a much smaller set of passages. It's assuming that we're doing this as a single book demo now, but designing it so I could add more books later without refactoring. That's good. Um, and it's still writing along, so we can read through this real quick. Um, the core bet we're making with Pinecone is that it will stop you from refeeding the whole book into the LLM over and over. Let me do many cheap retrievals, and then give the LLM only the top K evidence for each theme. And that way, the spend won't go up repeating global scans of the book for each theme. The starter tier includes up to 2 gigabytes of storage and 2 million writes of units per month and up to 1 million read units. Um, so probably I shouldn't go past the free tier on Pinecone for the initial demo of this project. So then it goes through the data model, making citations enforceable, things it wants to store. It wants citations that are deterministic, checkable by code, and readable. split it into chapters and assign IDs, store the chapter, the paragraph index, character start, character end, and the text, and the record format for Pinecone. The namespace strategy will be the namespace equals the book ID. That's smart. The Pinecone setup index versus Pinecone assistant. So using Pinecone's vector database index directly. That seems good. We'll choose two embedding models. Local embeddings or API embeddings. We'll just use API embeddings for now. LangGraph design. So we're back into LangGraph. We're going to have nodes and state. There can be checkpoints after ingestion, parallelizing per theme retrieval and validation, rerunning just the broken themes without redoing everything. That's fun. And it supports orchestrator worker via send to spawn parallel workers. So here's our conceptual state schema, the book ID, the raw text, the segments, store externally and keep only IDs, the index status, themes, theme queries, evidence map, validated evidence map, essay draft, and QA report. So our workflow overview is first ingestion, fetch text, normalize and segment, embed segments, upsert to Pinecone. Phase B, theme and evidence run per analysis job. Discover themes, build theme queries, retrieve evidence per theme, validate evidence per theme, draft essay, and then the QA repair loop. So here's our detailed node by node plan, but let's just it wants to know if we're rewriting this in Python. Yes. I want to write this in Python. I want Pinecone serverless, and then I want to be able to deploy this on fly.io and let people pick books from Project Gutenberg to generate their own essays. If I wanted to ask for a lot, I'd ask for Stripe integration too. And while we're at it, let's not mess let's not mess with Stripe integration today. We're already using a lot of things that are new to me. And Stripe integration has a lot of going to Stripe and setting up. Well, I mean, I think it does, but maybe it doesn't. Let's add Stripe integration. Let's architect this with an eye towards adding user login and Stripe integration later. So users can upload their own texts to create essays and pay for the service. Hey, why not ask for the moon, right? That's the thing with AI. You never know what it can do, and if you self-limit, then the AI will also stay limited. So while that's thinking, let's talk a little bit about Codex is the let's see. We're using GPT 5.2 Codex. Now I could change the model. looks like. That's the latest frontier agentic coding model. Or I could use GPT 5.1 Codex Mini, which is optimized for Codex, cheaper, faster, but less capable. I'm not sure. Let's just try to use the default, you know, Codex medium. We might run into our limits, we might not. So we are now getting a more specific set of requirements. From what I learned yesterday using Cloud Coding and from what I know from doing all AI coding is that it is worth it to take a bunch of time to get a great project outline before you put it into um, an AI system. Putting in cost controls too. Let's say I want an outline that I can feed into OpenAI Codex to create a working MVP in an hour. So reduce choices here, prioritize getting a demo up on fly.io, and having the Pinecone integration working and limiting the whole system you know what? Nah. Let's trust and just keep going. Pasted content. Implement the MVP version of this app. Here we go. It's listing files to find if the directory is empty or contains items. It's now planning the MVP architecture itself, right? There we go. Refining components and structure. Now, in the past with AI, I've found sometimes it is oddly bad at knowing its own documentation. So I'll be looking to see what models it chooses for the LLM usage. And when it comes to those models, I will try to check that and have it use the cheapest of the OpenAI models so I can keep the costs low on this one. It's created the requirements.txt. You know, while it's doing that, let's open the folder and see what it's making. So we've got our requirements.txt. We're using FastAPI, Uvicorn, Pydantic settings, SQL Alchemy, G, Alembic, HTTPX, Pinecone client, OpenAI, and Python.env. That makes sense. We've already got a config.py, db.py, models.py, q.py, schemas.py. We're going to probably need to put in our Pinecone API key at some point. It's assigning the Pinecone index and the cloud and the region we're going to be using. The OpenAI embedding model we'll be using is text embedding 3 small. That's nice. The OpenAI chat model GPT-4o mini. That's actually the thing I would like to check on. OpenAI chat API pricing models. So let's see. Oro Mini. Explore detailed pricing. Here we go. 4.0 mini for input and output. 15-cent input, 60-cent output per million tokens. That is not the cheapest one. GPT 4.1 Nano is cheaper. And GPT 5 Nano is cheaper. Input 5 cents, output 40 cents per million. GPT 4.1 Nano is input 10 cents, output 40 cents. So let's use GPT-5 Mini. Yeah. Great. Embedding models are, ooh, and it's going. And it created our .env example, so that'll probably be where we are putting our API keys. The OpenAI embedding models, image tokens, videos, fine-tuning, image generation, embeddings. The embedding models are really cheap. So text embedding 3 small is the cheapest one. So we will keep that. That's great. Fun. Look at how expensive the legacy models are. Wow. So you could still use GPT 3.5 if you really wanted to. Fantastic. Let's see where we are. Okay. Gosh. This is a really fun build. Worked for 5 minutes. And it's excited. We've got a shippable MVP skeleton in place. Full fast API app. Worker loop with a simple Postgres backed job queue. Skip locked. Gutenberg ingestion. Normalize segment embed Pinecone upsert. Essay pipeline, theme discovery, evidence retrieval, essay draft with citations, Postgres models and Alembic migration, fly-ready Docker file and fly.2ml, .env.example, and a README with local run steps. Key files, the API is in main.py, the worker is worker.py, ingestion ingest.py, essay essay.py, Pinecone. Pinecone client.py, LLM app, LLM.py, DB models are in models.py, the migrations in the initial migration file, and the config is in config.py, and there's a doc in README. How to run locally, install the dependencies, set the environmental vars, run alembic upgrade head, start the API, and start the worker. Okay. Now Codex was like, oh, let me do these things for you. But I am going to go and at least try to do some of this myself. I need, it's got my database URL here. I need a Pinecone API key and an OpenAI API key. That makes sense. And over here, it's got the chat model again. So that's where I want to, again, put in GPT-5 Mini. That's good. And so I'm going to need a terminal. And I need Python 3-m beyond here. Yeah, great. Source /bin activate. Oh, yep, I did mean source. Cool. Now we're in our, so then we pip install requirements.txt. I guess I need a pip install -r requirements.txt. There we go. I'll be a Python coder one day. Great, we've installed all those things. Now we do set our environment variables from .env.example. So usually what you do is you copy .env example to .env, and then you put your variables in here. Now I can't release my API keys on the web, so I will pause this and then put my keys in and then close this file and then resume once that's done. But before I do that, I guess I can go to Pinecone and we can see where to find the API key. I don't think I have a Pinecone account, but let's see. There's my email. We're going to continue. Great. And now we are going to go to API keys. Oh, I do have a couple, huh? That's fun. Let's delete them. It looks like you can't delete both of them. So I guess I will just, that might be why I made a second one. Because I'm not sure how I would look at this. So here's where your API keys would be. You go add API key, you put it in, it'll give you a chance to look at it. That's when you copy it into the .env. So I'm going to do that and I will be right back. Okay, so I added my API keys to a .env file. And the next thing that we're supposed to do is run alembic upgrade head. But I think I know what that does, but I'm not 100% sure. So we are going to actually, what I've done is I put the Codex work and output back into this original conversation. with ChatGPT 5.2, and I've asked it to confirm the steps that I did, um, creating the Vion, activating it, running install, copying that to .env example to .env, putting in API keys, and then ask what the Alembic upgrade head is doing. Because one of the things I've learned with AI is you definitely want to make sure to learn along the way, because that's what will help your skills compound. So it's a command that creates and updates my database schema to whatever my latest migration defines. That makes sense. One of the reasons I loved using Laravel for so long is it forced me to learn all of these concepts for a web application. So even when I go over into a Python framework and you're patching together uh, these different packages that handle these different things, Laravel has had them all together. So I'm like, migrations. I know what that is. So it's a tool for SQL Alchemy projects. My repo has alembic.ini, a config for where the migrations live, how to connect, um, the migrations, env.py. Uh, it bootstraps the SQL Alchemy metadata and reads database URL, and then the app migration. So it will connect to the database specifically. It'll create a special table and run any upgrade steps I need. Now, I am not sure that Postgres is running. So, but I guess that's what scopg was. So, I guess it probably is. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if my database is running. How can I check that first? All I've done is install requirements, which did include, let's look at the requirements here. But no other database setup steps yet. Codex didn't mention anything about that. I'm being a little defensive here. So this will only work so first check where it is in my .env. Since I haven't changed it, it thinks it's on localhost. Yes, 5432. Check if anything is listening. Nothing listening. So if I tried to run the Alembic, I would get an error. And if I have if I don't have it installed yet, then run it via Docker. All right, so here is a bash command to get that going. Let's try it. Don't we love Docker? Okay, now, hey, we've got a database running. You know what? I'm excited because I've never used Postgres before, and this is forcing me to do that. That's what this is all about. So now we can run the Alembic upgrade head. So, little bit of a ding on Codex. It didn't really say hey, you're gonna need to set up your, your database. And it's only me being like, hey, database setups are not trivial. I mean, that was kind of trivial, but they don't happen magically from installing Python requirements. So let's move forward and feel proud that we maybe dodged that issue. So now when we run this upgrade, no module named app. Now I could try to read through this to be clever, but instead I will just take all this. Now I could put it into Codex, because Codex is my agentic thing. I'm going to put this here, because this is not using up my limits. And I say, is this something you can help me fix? Or should I put this into Codex so it can edit my files directly? Because that's the main advantage of the Codex. Oh, my project root isn't on Python path. Oh, I see. Maybe what I need to do is running it from the repo root. So cd app. Nope. The repo root is a directory that contains alembic.ini and the app folder and the requirements.txt. Yeah, that's what it is. That's where I am. There's my requirements. There's alembic.ini. This does look like something that I'd rather have Codex work on for me. So let's just take this and say, there we go. It's adding some stuff. It seems to think that it's working from my project root, or it should. And so I want to clarify that. It's not working from my project root though. See? Okay. That there we go. Now it's doing the thing. It can't import app because the repo root is not on sys.path when it runs from the root. It fixed that. Now it should work. Hey, it did work. Fantastic. Okay, it worked. What's next? I could say that, or I could just go up and try to run the Uvicorn app main reload. Hey, the application startup is complete. Now here's the tricky thing, not super tricky, but slightly tricky that it just did. It it took up my terminal. It's now running in that terminal, so I need another one. And the other thing I need to do in this other one is activate the virtual environment and then start the worker. And that might work, or I might need to run it as Python 3-m app worker. But either way, we should be able to see something on port 8000. Let's just run it as Python 3 just in case. So it's just running and it's got no output yet. Okay, great. On this we have not found. At least we have some logs here. And so we will make this a little bigger. Interesting. And now we can come in here and say, okay, it worked. I ran the Vibecode command in one and the Python 3-m worker py command in another terminal. But now I see this error. Damn it. One of these days I will stop hitting Shift Enter and I will just hit Enter. Shift Enter is often how you, on the web, get a new line without hitting Enter, but here it's not. Doesn't see the error yet. Oh, my bad. I guess. There it is. No root yet. Ah, I shouldn't need a root. I should just search Gutenberg, create a job, pull the status. Since we are going to want to deploy this on fly.io. Okay, it wants me to test things. Let's test them. Internal server error. Now I will say, this isn't as seamless as Claude, but on the other hand, this is a slightly more difficult task. It's applied a fix, and it wants me to try it again. Hey, there we go. That worked. Create a job using the Gutenberg ID and pull the status. and then get the results. Yeah. So Gutenberg ID is 1342. It already knows. Isn't that fun and magic? And I run this from the terminal. Let's open a new one. Internal server error. Ah, sure. The get was okay. Oh, I see. It automatically started up again after the fix. So that's where we can post in our latest error and let it know. Now I'll say, there we go. Claude Code would probably be trying to test all of this itself and doing all of this itself and running all of these things itself, which would be fun, but I might not have learned as much. It might have hit its limits already. So there's a trade-off here. The more you get involved and follow along, the more likely you are to stay within limits and learn along the way. So it's created a job. So we're at that point, generating, and now we can pull for progress, which is what it said before. We need the job ID. So jobs. Okay. Whatever just happened there is confusing. Oh, now I don't have the job ID though. Huh. Closed the terminal and lost job ID. Can I find it somewhere? It's in the database. First, I need to install. Might as well. It's the second time this has come up. Let's ask ChatGPT 5.2. Given I need to run for this database URL, what's my actual command. Yeah, that's okay for now. Boy, this is just getting more and more fun. That's a wrapper. Guess I also need this. I'll say, if you were doing this on Windows, I would not envy you. Now, PSQL version tells us that. And this now. Perfect. And apparently generating the essay succeeded. So, that's nice. And our job ID is this. So we can go back over here, jobs, that. Ah, we forgot. Okay, there we go. It says it succeeded. Okay. All right. Now, once that's succeeded, we just ask for the result. Jobs, this, result. The result was nothing. Okay, that is fun. Let's go check and see. What might have happened. So let's just tell it, hey, look, we got something that said it succeeded, but it didn't. Oh, look, Shift Enter and Enter do the same thing. So I don't even know how I would. Maybe Alt Enter. Restart the worker and then rerun the job. Um, at this point, I would like you to create a front end interface that makes this testing workflow much more user friendly. And we'll need this anyway to run this to deploy this on fly.io. Where are we for time? 52 minutes. So we've got about 10 minutes left, let's say. And it's now creating that front end for me so I can stop messing around with the command line, and because we'll need it anyway. I think it was smart to test some of this functionality before creating that front end, just like it suggested, but at this point, when we're, dealing with, hey, what's failing under the hood, um, we can we can at least have a nice interface that gets updated along the way. Working on this without creating the interface would probably save tokens. And I'm not really sure where we are for our limit yet. And it does look like we might need to continue this project tomorrow. So here's what we're gonna do. Uvicorn auto shuts down and restarts, but as it points out, our app worker does not, right? So I have to restart this when things are reloaded. And now I can go here. Hey, here we go. Pride and Prejudice. Search. Searching Gutenberg. 6 results. They're all Pride and Prejudice. Put in the Gutenberg ID, generate. It's created a job. Check the status. That doesn't do anything. If we look at the console, check status, doesn't do much. Status is just queued. So I could say, hey, that check status doesn't work, but I'm not as mad about that as I am about it not doing anything. Now, I did change the Python to Python 3. Maybe that's bad. But it seems like maybe there's something wrong with my worker. Let's ask Codex about it. Looks like maybe my worker isn't running. The job is just stuck in queued. I tried interrupting it and restarting it. Oh, cool. Forgot that again. We can look over here. The worker was hanging while trying to talk to Postgres. Added 2 fixes. Restart the worker. If I don't see it, check these in the same terminal. Oh, yeah, echo my API key and my database URL. Yeah, maybe I'll have to pause to do that. But first, let's just try restarting the worker like it says. No jobs, sleeping. No jobs, sleeping. That says running now. Not queued. Okay, let's just try again. Generate. Job created. Oh, there was an error up at the top though. Now, but I can't get to it because it just claim job generate essay forever. Not super useful. Okay. All right. So it said claim job generate essay, but it posted that in an infinite loop that is bad logging. And right before that infinite logging loop, it flashed an error, but I can't see it. Let's add proper logging files for the worker and the server and use them. Logging is so important. Boy, is this fun. Now instead of print commands, we've got logger.info commands. Great. Let's restart both of these. Clear. Restart it. Great. Clear. Restart that. No job sleeping. Gonna go here, refresh this page. 1342. Generate. Got our job created at least. Okay. Let's just stop it. We're supposed to have tailed that log. We can at least go find it in here. Huh. I really hope we're not building up a giant API bill somewhere in the background. Oh, or maybe Pinecone is doing something. I suppose I could go look. Doesn't look like I have anything in here yet. That's good. And for OpenAI API, I can go look at my usage here. Also no usage on that API yet. So I haven't managed to actually hit any of these APIs. Let's add a lot more comprehensive logging so we can really keep track of what the worker is doing and server are both doing. Let's also check fundamental values we need without logging any keys directly to make sure we have values for things that are essential. Let's update the interface to show the logs. No, let's not. We can look at logs ourselves. Now after this, we might have to be done. So we're going to allow one more attempt, and then we're going to say, hey, this is how far we got in an hour today, and at least now we have something to resume tomorrow. Looks like a lot more and better logging. So that's good. And the hard part, once you add in good logging, is when it actually shows you the errors, and you want to start tracking those down. And you can't because you have to stop and move on with your day. All right, it's updated a bunch of files. Restart the API in the worker, tail the logs in separate terminals, create a new job, and watch the logs. Sounds good. So we're gonna go over here. I mean, we don't really, I guess, have to restart this. It should be restarting on its own, but hey. Huh. And here's our real error now. Jobs.next does not exist. Okay. It's logging that error over and over again. Gosh, I just want to keep working on this, but I won't. Awesome. That was today, and hopefully tomorrow we will continue on and get this implementation fixed up. Uh, this has been illuminating, and it really makes me wonder how Claude Code would do if we tried to give it the same task. But for now, this was the end of Daily Vibe Code Day 2. Hopefully, we'll come back tomorrow and get this fixed up.